So with this news coming out about AMC, are you long this stock already? If you are, leave a comment down below. Let us know what you've done, what strategy you're looking at. We're looking at buying stock and selling a straddle to take advantage of the high vol, and we'll discuss that next. But any comments or questions you have, leave them down below. Thanks. Okay, there's talk about AMC being potentially taken over by Amazon. Wow, this is big news. Reports in a few places talking about AMC being potentially taken over by Amazon. While it might fit into their longer term strategy, they see this as an opportunity to buy these assets at really pennies on the dollar. This used to be a $25 stock. So, trading at $2, it's got to look interesting to them. I mean, Amazon's all-time highs with Amazon Prime video service, curating their own content. This could be really interesting expansion for them if they're able to buy it for the right price. The stock is up on huge volume today. This is a weekly chart. I just want to show you where the stock used to trade. 3 years ago it was $25. It just traded down to $1.95, which is expected, right? The national economy has been shut down. So, from the peak of February 20th, this stock has dropped from 7.5 to March 18th. We got down 17th, right, which was the low. Since the low, this thing has kind of popped up and down, came back down to its low again. But it's been creeping back up, and there's record volume today, huge volume in there. So there must be some validity to the rumor. There were a few reports that were put out. So there's potential buyout interest by Amazon. That's pretty crazy. There's equal number of calls and puts and trade in there. Look at the implied vols on the options, all over 200%. So, and vol is super high in there. It's up 30% on the day. If we look at the short dated options, the stock's trading after hours a little bit lower, around 521 to 524. The implied vols on the in the money 5 calls that expire on Friday are 70-cent bid offered at 75. They're up 650% today, so up over 6 times from Friday. So big move up in there, and they actually traded much higher. This stock opened up at 640, went as high as 641. So we had a huge open, and these options were trading at $1.60 on the open, and they've come all the way back down to 70 cents. So the vols would have been crazy on the opening today. The implied vol suggests that someone thinks there's a deal to be done in here. If we look at the actual options themselves, you can see current implied volatility percentile is 35%. So ironically, right now the vols are not as high as they were previously. So they have seen higher vols. Someone bought 2,000 of the December 6 calls for $1. That was 80% implied vol when that was traded. So the stock was $5.30 when they bought 2,000 calls at $1.07 for December 6 calls. By then the economy should be reopened, so this stock should have been trading higher anyway. The 52-week high is $13.75. Just before the close, someone traded 2,000 of the 8 calls. But anyway, it looks like this stock's going to be in play. Now the implied vols are pretty high in here, so with the high vols, one strategy is if we think over the next week there's going to be some kind of announcement, then if we look at the straddle, because vol is high, one strategy is to go in here, buy the stock here around 5, and then sell the straddle for $1.25. And then if it stays around 5, then you're going to make $1.25 on the stock if it stays around 5 in the next 4 days. So that's probably an interesting trade to do. So I may look at that in the morning. I think what I'll do is I'll stay small, but what I'll probably do is I'll buy 100 shares and then I'll sell a straddle against it for 4 days and make 20%.